Sounds of the Week on iRadio.
الاجتماع بتاع أرجمت حتى لو عمل اجتماع ضد الاجتماع ما له أي فايدة. إن المفترض أنا بس ما بس هم عملوا اجتماع خلاص قفلوا المكتب بتاعهم هم رجعوا في أماكنهم ما هم جو من فوق. ليه؟ لأنه الدولة عادة إلى المربع الأولى. اتفاقية سلام المنشد وما منشد ده وينه ثاني؟ في اتفاقية؟ ما في أي اتفاقية في الحتة دي. الناس شغالين عنف. لأنه حاليا أنا ما شايف أي في حلول. لأنه إذا كان في حلول من بداية بتاع شهر واحد ولا شهر اثنين كويس عدة الدول المجاورة حوالينا حتى الدول الأوروبية والآسيوية وهم ما جو في جنوب السودان كويس عاوزين الدولة دي يمشي زي باقي الدول. لكن الخانة بتاعنا ظلوا هم أنانيين كويس عنصريين كويس غدايين كويس وما منهم أي مصلحة لشعب جنوب السودان. هم قالوا أن إحنا يهو ذات الأهمية. هم استخدموا الدكتاتورية ما خد يستخدموا الدكتاتورية بسبب ذاتهم لمنفعهم.
Live from Juba, on air and online.
This is iRadio News.
Hello, good afternoon. This is iRadio News. First, here are the headlines. South Sudan's Drug and Food Control Authority has issued an urgent recall of levohistam syrup after discovering incorrect manufacturing and expiry date on the product's packaging. The Joint Security Operations has arrested 2 out of 3 suspects involved in a string of more than 20 motorcycle and rickshaw thefts in and around Juba City. And the National Constitutional Review Commission has launched a nationwide civic education campaign to collect public views on the ongoing constitution-making process. These stories and more coming to you in this news bulletin with me, Lasuba Memo. And now the news in detail. South Sudan's Drug and Food Control Authority has issued an urgent recall of levohistam syrup after discovering incorrect manufacturing and expiry dates on the product's packaging. According to an official notice dated October 6, 2025, the recalling of the levocetrizine and dihydrochloride 5 milligram per 10 milliliters is being conducted in compliance with Section 5 of the Drug and Food Control Act 2012, which governs the disposal of regulated products. The stated batch number 240059A was manufactured by Utopia Pharmaceuticals, one of the most growing companies in Egypt. It has expanded its market to 14 countries in Africa, Europe, and Asia. Utopia produces more than 40 pharmaceutical products covering various therapeutic classes: cardiovascular, dermatology, psychiatry, orthopedics, GIT, respiratory, and urology. In the recall notice signed by Dr. Peter Agwek Kon, Director General for Inspection and Surveillance at the Drug Food Control Authority, he warned that the incorrect labeling could mislead healthcare providers and patients about the product's shelf life, potentially posing a risk to patient safety. The authority stated, and I quote, "The use of products with incorrect dates may pose a risk to patient safety or mislead regarding product shelf life," end quote. The Drug and Food Control Authority has directed all healthcare professionals, pharmacies and drugstores across the country to immediately stop the distribution and dispensing of the affected batch. They are also instructed to return the product to Neighbor Care Medical Company Limited. Healthcare providers seeking further information are advised to contact the Drug and Food Control Authority through the following numbers: 0911 167476 or 0916848858. The Joint Security Operations has arrested 2 out of 3 suspects involved in a string of more than 20 motorcycle and rickshaw thefts in and around Juba City. According to Major General James Mandenoka, the suspects were apprehended on Saturday for 4th of October 2025 at around 2 p.m. during a targeted operation in the Tongping Jubanabari residential area. During the arrest, the suspects were found in possession of 20 stolen motorbikes, 22 different number plates, and 1 rickshaw. These items are currently being held by the police as evidence. The operation was carried out by Sector 4 of the Joint Operations Force and was made possible following a tip-off from residents of the Northern Bari area. One of the suspects remains at large and a mount hunt is ongoing. The police spokesperson urged members of the public who have lost their motorbikes or rickshaws to visit the nearest police station to check the list of recovered number plates. It says those who identify their stolen property are encouraged to open a police case for further investigation and legal proceedings.
During operation managed on Saturday, 4th October 2025 at 2 p.m. we apprehend 2 suspects out of 3 suspects who have been suspected of robbing and stealing motorcycles and rickshaws in Juba City. They were arrested in Tongping residential area together with a number of exhibits, which include 2 suspects, 1 is at large, and then 22 different plate numbers of the stolen motorcycles and rickshaws. I have a long list of these plate numbers, and I ask those who lost motorcycles or rickshaw to check in the police station those numbers. If they find out this is attributed to a stolen or robbed property, then they will also continue the case with these suspects.
Speaking on SSBC yesterday, Major General Enoka commended the public for their cooperation and praised the efforts of the Joint Operations Force in combating crime. He says authorities will continue to encourage public cooperation in providing timely information to help prevent and combat crimes across the city.
I want to take this opportunity to thank the Joint Operation of Sector 4 for the good job done, and I thank the public for their cooperation with these forces. Thanks to God, the rate of crimes in Juba City has decreased. The question of the gangs has reduced completely. It's only this gang was stealing. They are just in hiding. There's a few of them. We will continue to look for them.
The chairperson of the Drivers' Union in Central Equatorial State has publicly voiced his opposition to the ongoing construction of a commercial shop within the Jebel Market bus park. The union argues the development has been illegally consuming land designated for public vehicles since 2008. According to Union Chairperson Lawrence Gabriel, the public vehicle parking lot is allegedly being converted into commercial shops. According to the driver union, the site in question has served as a bus station since 2008, connecting commuters between Juba Market, Custom Market, Konyo Konyo, Gudele, and Gumbo Sherikat. He said ongoing construction work in the parking lot has forced drivers to park on public roads, creating congestion and obstructing pedestrian movement. Gabriel revealed that union representatives visited the State Ministry of Infrastructure on Monday to seek clarification but could not meet the minister. The Director General reportedly informed them that the matter falls under the minister's authority. He spoke to iRadio this morning.
والله لسه ما وصلنا للنتيجة امبارح مشينا ولقينا وزير معافي ومدير عام قالوا ما قدر يسيبوا قراره براو اللي داير يقول مع مدير وشال مننا تليفونات بعدين بينادونا كنا ماشيين انه طبعا الناس جا كتطول لهم محلات ده لكن بقى داير يعملوا عربات قاعدين واساسا المحطة ده كله كتطول في ناس وزير انه مواصلات محله بيكون وين kama itu wazara itu kata mahal lakini ite bidira no mahal deka toka la hamu wasala kuna tirini pitis bihal betao kan bade ya igula no mahal diga mahata ya igul mahal diga darakin tanna karnaro يعني محل ده كانوا باكينيات قدام ده كله بتاع السوق ده ياو ما حتى بقى ما في ياو طبعا هو باكينيات محل تاع قبل ريزورت عندنا بقى ثلاث فوتونا قاعدين فوق من 2008 بقينا قاعدين فوق كما حتى ياو بقى بقى قاعد يكتكوا بسيط لحد يا ياو بقى خلاص ما هو ما حتى ده بقى ما بيلو قال شويه على البلد طبعا لو جوا ده ناس بيشيلوا من برا بدخلوا جوا طبعا الشيء ده من جوا.
Efforts to reach out to the Central Equatorial Government were not immediately successful. This is iRadio News. South Sudanese political activist Samuel Peter Oyai, who has been detained in the United Arab Emirates, has spoken to his family for the first time since his arrest. According to his wife, Samuel Oyai, a political commentator known for being critical of the South Sudan government, was reportedly arrested in Emirati and taken to a unknown location. His wife, Bibiana Johnson Ogilo Ador, told iRadio that Samuel called her and their children briefly, assuring them he was safe, but did not reveal where he was being held. Speaking to iRadio yesterday, Bibiana said, and I quote, "I received a phone call from an unknown number, and when I answered, it was my husband's voice. He spoke with me and the kids for a few minutes, told us he was fine, and then the line suddenly disconnected." End quote. This is the first time the family has heard from Samuel since his arrest on September 30th, 2025, when security officers allegedly raided his home in the United Arab Emirates. According to Bibiana, the officers searched the house for nearly 2 hours without a warrant before detaining him. She said her husband has not been formally charged and has been denied access to a lawyer or regular contact with his family. In a letter seen by iRadio, Bibiana described the arrest as arbitrary and unlawful and linked it to her husband's writings and public remarks critical of the government. Bibiana is calling on UAE authorities to disclose her husband's location, allow him legal access, and ensure his safety. She also accused When contacted by iRadio, Apuka Yuel, the spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, said she is not aware of the alleged detention of the activist. The National Constitutional Review Commission has launched a nationwide civic education campaign to collect public views on the ongoing constitution-making process. The campaign, which began this morning in Juba, will start in 4 states: Lakes, Northern Bahar El Ghazal, Eastern Equatoria, and Western Bahar El Ghazal. Speaking to the media, John Nathana Abraham, the Secretary General of the Commission, said teams made up of 7 members each have been dispatched to the 4 states to share information and gather feedback from communities. Nathana said the rollout of the civic education phase is a key step toward ensuring an inclusive and participatory constitution-making process. He called on citizens to take ownership of the process, stressing that it must be people-driven and inclusive of all sectors of society. He said in a statement, and I quote, "This process belongs to the people of South Sudan. We are taking the constitution to the grassroots so that every citizen, whether in rural or urban areas, understands their rights and responsibilities in shaping the future of our nation." End quote. Meanwhile, Oyet Patrick, the chairperson of the Civic Education and Public Consultation Committee, assured the public of the Commission's continued transparency and accountability throughout the process. Responding to concerns about public trust, Oyet said the National Constitutional Review Commission has remained open in all its activities and will continue to act in the interests of the people. He also revealed that the Commission will publish and share the outcomes of public consultations to ensure citizens' views are accurately captured in the final draft of the permanent constitution. According to Oyed, the civic education terms arrived in the 4 states on Monday and have already started meeting with the state officials before moving on to engage local communities. Before the international news, Sudan has allocated a free zone at Port Sudan for South Sudan following a visit by South Sudan's Minister of Foreign Affairs over the weekend, according to a report by the Sudan News Agency. The zone will allow South Sudan to develop its oil industry and facilitate the transit of goods. During a 2-day official visit to Sudan, South Sudan's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Monday Semaya Kumba, met with TSC Vice President General Malik Agar, Prime Minister Dr. Kamil Idris, and the Ministers of Interior, Energy and Oil, as well as the Director General of the General Intelligence Service. A discussion focused on promoting cooperation in oil, economy, infrastructure, education, health and security, while also ensuring the protection and support of citizens in both countries. Both sides agreed to reactivate joint committees and establish a joint economic committee to enhance cooperation in trade, investment, energy, oil, agriculture, transport and infrastructure, and to encourage public-private partnerships. The two countries further stressed the importance of facilitating trade and investment movement, highlighting the Port Sudan Free Zone as a major step toward advancing South Sudan's economic interest. The ministers also agreed to intensify political consultations, coordinate positions in regional and international forums, and continue collaboration in counter-terrorism and border security. Minister Kumba extended an official invitation to the Sudanese Prime Minister to visit Juba, and at the end of his mission, he expressed deep appreciation to the government and the people of Sudan for their warm hospitality, while commending Sudan's role in supporting peace and development in South Sudan and the wider region. This is iRadio News, and now to the international scene. Here is Helen Samuel.
Thank you. Ending some of the stories making headlines in the region and beyond the borders. Madagascar's embattled President Andry Rajoelina has appointed an army general as the new prime minister in a bid to end youth-led protests against his rule. He said the nation needed a premier capable of restoring order and the people's trust before naming General Rufin Fortunat Rafisambo to the post. Coming days after the president expressed fears of a coup attempt, the general's appointment marks a significant militarization of the government and appears to be an attempt by Rajoelina to secure the army's backing at a time of heightened tensions. The protest movement known as Gen Z Mada rejected the naming of the general as the new prime minister and gave Rajoelina 48 hours to resign. Elsewhere, Israelis are gathering at memorial events to mark 2 years since Hamas's attacks on 7th October 2023, in which 1,200 people were killed and 251 others were taken hostage. At the site of the Nova Festival attack, memorials are garnished with flowers, tributes, and candles, correspondent reports. Israel's military launched a campaign in Gaza in response to Hamas's attacks, which has killed at least 67,160 people there, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. Finally, France's president's first prime minister has said Emmanuel Macron should name a prime minister to push through a budget and then call early presidential elections to solve France's political crisis. Edouard Philippe's comments come after France's third prime minister in a year, Sébastien Lecornu, resigned on Monday after his bid to form a government fell apart. Macron has asked him to make a last-ditch plan for stability by the end of Wednesday, but support for the French president appears to be waning even among his allies. Those are some of the stories trending across the globe. Back to you at the news desk.
Thanks, Helen Samuel. This is iRadio News, and now we move to the world of sports, and here is Darlington Moses.
So much, Soba Memo. And now to the sport news, starting with home news. The Senegalese international and former Liverpool and Bayern Munich star arrived in Juba yesterday with his teammate to face South Sudan next Friday at Juba National Stadium. Sadio Mane's presence not only boosts morale within the team but also elevates expectations among fans ahead of Friday clash. As Senegal prepares for its World Cup qualifiers, all eyes will be on Sadio Mane and his teammates. With their sides firmly set on representing Africa at the global stage, they aim to build upon previous successes in international tournaments such as AFCON. In the ongoing South Sudan Premier League, Salam Awil FC drew with the Koryambur FC 1-1 in yesterday's fixture. Meanwhile, Jammus has beaten Lion Hunters 3-0, where Kelvin Mahire of Jammus has been named man of the match following his outstanding performance on the pitch. American tech entrepreneur Brooklyn Eric has ruled out making a formal takeover bid for Tottenham. Tottenham unequivocally rejected an informal expressions of interest from a consortium by Eric last month and insisted that the club was not for sale. But UK takeover and merger rules dictated that, having heard expressions of interest rejected, Eric's consortium needed to make an offer by 24th October or announce they would not do so. Confirmations of the decisions came in a statement from Tottenham to the London Stock Exchange stating the club is no longer in an offer period. Amateur players will have the chance to win $1 million prize when they face tennis top professionals, including Carlos Alcaraz, in a single-point showdown before January's Australian Open. Organizers of the year's first Grand Slam tournament announced the $1 million one-point slam on Tuesday, which will pit 10 amateur players against 22 professionals. Headlined by Spain's world number 1 Alcaraz, the winner of the event will take home $1 million Australian dollars, which is equivalent of 490,360 euros. This is all in the world of sport, and back to you, Lasuba Memo.
Thanks indeed, Darlington Moses. This is iRadio News, and to end this bulletin, here is the recap of the headlines. South Sudan's Drug and Food Control Authority has issued an urgent recall of levohistam syrup after discovering incorrect manufacturing and expiry date on the product's packaging. The Joint Security Operations has arrested 2 out of 3 suspects involved in a string of more than 20 motorcycle and rickshaw thefts in and around Juba City. And the National Constitutional Review Commission has launched a nationwide civic education campaign to collect public views on the ongoing constitution-making process. That's the end of iRadio News. If there's a story or an event you'd like iRadio to cover or report about, please send us a text message at +211 925 287 It's also a WhatsApp number. Follow us on X at iRadio Juba, like our Facebook page iRadio, subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for the news in Arabic at 12:30. I am the Super Memo. Thank you for listening.